Third project, what I decided to do first was to try out the 6 different methods in order to find out which ones I would be wanting to use in my paintings. So here's hatching, cross hatching, scumbling, stippling, flat brushing, dry brushing I mean, and flat washing. So ultimately I decided to use hatching and stippling because they're more consistent and cover more space in less time. So for my representational piece, what I decided to do was paint the tree lines in the mall area because it was an interesting view, especially considering it was cloudy that day. Since the sky was actually this pale blue, this really pale blue, almost white, really, I decided to capture that. What I didn't realize is that there's a lot more nuance to it than I had initially expected. But once I finally got that color down, I used the hatching method on that, and then I used stippling for the leaves, and then I finished that off with the branches. For my abstraction piece, I decided to change up a few things. For example, the color scheme as well as the way I painted the leaves themselves using a different means of stippling. So for this instance, the sky is now pink and the leaves are now white with a more square style to them, with the branches themselves being a very, very dark red. And then once I painted those on the canvas, I again started using hatching to get that pale blue onto the canvas itself, and then followed it up with the stippling of the leaves and then the branches themselves. Following that with the abstraction piece, I was able to do the same, paint it with a very bright pink, and then follow that up with the stippling of the leaves, which actually took a lot more time than what I expected. I didn't expect it to take as long as it took me. And then I followed that up with the branches again. But for these two, what I had decided to do was actually ensure that the the branches were actually had a crisp line to them, because when I started painting them, they would have a sort of faintness to them. You could somewhat see it in my representational piece, so it was a lot of detail to add to that. And from there, I just finished off the paintings by giving the branches a much more crisper edge.